In this video, I'll review the rules for formulas and names of ionic compounds containing a transition metal. Use the same rules for writing formulas and naming as we did for ionic compounds in earlier videos, which I'll link to in the description. For naming compounds with a transition metal, there's another special rule. Use a Roman numeral to indicate the charge on the transition metal. Alkali and earth alkali metals on the left side of the periodic table are most common as +1 and +2 respectively. They do not need a Roman numeral in their name. Transition metals, on the other hand, can commonly exist with different positive charges. For example, copper can exist as a 1+ or 2+, iron as a 2+ or 3+. The Latin names can be used, the suffix "us" indicating the lower charge and the suffix "ic" indicating the higher charge, but it is more common in modern nomenclature to use the Roman numeral to indicate the charge on the ion. In earlier videos, I showed how to obtain formulas for ionic compounds, but for transition metals, it's important to be able to identify the charge on the ion. So in this video, I'll show you how to name the ionic compound from the formula. Here are the examples of CuCl, FeCl2, and V2O5. First, let's identify the ion ratios. For our three examples, the ratios are 1:1, 1:2, and 2:5 respectively. So which ions are present? We know from our common ion charges the chlorides are 1- and the oxide is 2-. We need to find the charges on the transition metals. Recall, the charges need to be balanced. For the first example, one chloride negative charge must be balanced by +1 charge on the copper. The charge on copper is 1+, and the name is copper-1 chloride. For the second example, there are two chloride ions, each with a -1 charge. The two negative charges must be balanced by a 2+ charge on the iron. The name here is iron 2 chloride. Finally, there are 5 oxides in our last example, each with a 2 negative charge. This gives a total of -10 that must be balanced by a +10. There are 2 vanadium ions, therefore each vanadium must have a 5+ charge. And the name is vanadium 5 oxide. It is worth mentioning here that there are a handful of transition elements that are most common with only one single charge and do not require a Roman numeral in their names. Aluminum 3+, zinc 2+, and silver 1+ are the most common. There are others, and I've seen textbooks be more specific about this than others. I recommend referring to your textbook or asking your instructor on which ions you'll be using this exception.